Ciao Fabri.
Hello
New
guys.
week of the podcast.
Ready to go.
It's international break, so not busy time for players. They are all in playing for the qualifications and friendlies.
Yes.
But we have still things to talk because, of course, the transfer market didn't even start yet.
Last one was about Tottenham, so we're going to
Yeah.
talk in some seconds.
Yes.
Here we go.
The Here We Go podcast is proudly sponsored by Skrill, the payments app for money movers and money makers. Go to Skrill.com to see all the ways Skrill lets you pay quickly and easily without relying on your bank, or download the app by searching for Skrill, spelled Skrill, and sign up in seconds.
Okay, and you wanted to start with Tottenham because there is one of the latest thing that came up in the last. We were here preparing the episode, and there was an interview. Interesting, very interesting.
Yes, interview of Walter Sabatini, sport director of Bologna. He was working for Roma, and he's a fantastic talent scout here in Italy. And he's the man who discovered Eric Lamela when he was in River Plate. He bought him for Roma, and was first time for Eric in Europe. And so they have a special relationship. And today he said, here in an interview in Italy, he said, we want Eric Lamela here at Bologna. We are trying to understand if there is something we can do with Tottenham. We are trying to understand if we can negotiate. But, in this moment, they want to try, really, for Eric Lamela. They have an interesting player like Orsolini, who is a good young player here in Italy. They want to sell him and put the money on Eric Lamela. So this is the strategy of Bologna. What I want to add is Eric Lamela in this moment is so happy at Tottenham. He's happy with the club. Obviously, the situation right now after the Europa League is not the best one, but in general, he's happy with the club. He's not planning to leave the club. Yeah. So in my opinion, it won't be an easy deal, an easy negotiation. So let's see. We report the words from Sabatini, from the director of Bologna, but at the moment there is nothing advanced and Lamela is happy with the situation at Tottenham.
I think we talked about Lamela a few weeks ago, or I don't remember when was it, but we talked about it because we said the same thing that you said right now, that he's happy at Tottenham, that yes. He's in the project and everything. But Sabatini, I know you have a special feeling for him. You love him.
Yes, I love him. I would love to have him here with us just because... Really, this kind of talent scout, he's covered a lot of players. Imagine he signed Marquinhos, now playing for Paris Saint-Germain, one of the best centre-backs in the world. He signed him from the second team of Corinthians for €2 million, but for Roma, and he sold him for €40 million. And probably today, if you want Marquinhos, you have to spend €100 million. Yeah. So imagine finding this kind of players. He was not playing for Corinthians. He was in the second team. It means that you are working hardly and you have some special talent to look at these players.
Yeah, he's also... Bologna is maybe one day we will talk about Bologna because they have a special atmosphere in Bologna. They have Sinisa Mihajlovic as manager. They have a property that is very important, and they have big projects for the club. Of course, now with the pandemic, with the situation of Mihajlovic last year, it slowed down a bit, but it's an interesting place to talk about and for football in general. But let's move a bit now. Let's go to Gini Wijnaldum, who is also a player that we always talk about.
Later we will talk again about Tottenham.
That was just a quick update of about Lamela because it just came up. But talking about Wijnaldum, because it's a player that we talk about a lot about in the podcast, because it's one of the situations that is, I don't know if it's evolving or not, but it's a big topic.
Yes.
For Liverpool fans, but also for Barcelona fans. And there are rumors about Barcelona that the deal is basically done. Is that true?
What I want to say is that at the moment there is nothing agreed or nothing done or nothing signed between Wijnaldum and Barcelona. Barcelona are changing everything, as you know. So there is new president, new board, let's say with the manager. For sure, the situation of Ronald Koeman will be the key, because Ronald Koeman is in love with Wijnaldum. Who's following me and us knows that they were trying to sign Wijnaldum also last summer. He was really close to sign for Barcelona. Then they didn't find agreement with Liverpool. So he's a target for sure. Barcelona want him. They are talking with the agent, so we can say that there is something. They are negotiating, and Barcelona are so interested. But at the moment, there is nothing signed or done, just because they have to plan for the future. They have to understand about the position of Ronald Koeman, and then they will decide also on the players. So apart of Eric Garcia, and we're going to talk about him in the next minutes
later.
But about Wijnaldum, there is nothing agreed. And also for other players, when we talk about Alaba and many others, rumors around Barcelona, there is nothing done at the moment. So the truth is that 90%, I would say, Gini Wijnaldum will leave Liverpool. Yes, because there is no agreement at the moment. Last bid was in December and they didn't find an agreement. So we said many times that there is no agreement between Wijnaldum and Liverpool. There are huge chances to see him out of the club, but it's not decided 100% yet, just because nothing has been signed with any other club. So let's see. For sure, Barcelona are interested. Yes.
You think it's connected with the future of Koeman also? Or
Yes. It's totally connected, just because he wanted him last summer, and Koeman has chances to stay, but let's see what happens, because for Barcelona it's important to understand about La Liga and everything, the plans with Laporta. But for sure it's connected, yes, because he wanted Wijnaldum, he wanted also Depay last summer. It was a complicated summer for all top clubs, not just Barcelona.
Yeah.
Let's see, but for sure it's a big opportunity, and also other clubs are looking at Wijnaldum, because we're talking about a fantastic midfielder available for free.
And there are also rumors about Aaron Ramsey to Liverpool to replace Wijnaldum.
Yes, a lot of rumors about it coming from Italy and also in England, but I can say that at the moment there is nothing. I think Liverpool are looking for a different player. They want to do something like what they did for Diogo Jota, so to find this kind of player, young one, ready to fight for a place, with good talent. Ramsey probably is in the last part of his career, so he's a fantastic player, but he wasn't performing here in Italy. A lot of injuries during his period
that was
at Juventus.
always a problem for him.
Juventus are ready to sell Aaron Ramsey this summer, so they are prepared to sell him. But at the moment with Liverpool, there is nothing, and they are looking at different players. They have a list for the midfield, so let's see what they will decide. But for example, I can say that they were scouting a player like Renato Sanchez. So this kind of midfielder, let's see if it will be Renato, will be another one, but they are scouting this kind of player more than quality or old one as Aaron Ramsey. Obviously, great player, but at the end of his career.
As we always said about Liverpool, we expect them to go for a few targets, like not making huge revolution in the club. They always had this kind of, attitude in transfer market, going for, selecting 2-3 roles per summer, per transfer window, and then...
Yes, this will be the idea, and let's see what happens with the centre-backs, but they are already planning with Jurgen Klopp, as we said last time, so the process of Liverpool is so clear, and this with Jurgen Klopp on the bench.
Talking about Spain, we mentioned Barcelona. Let's go to Real Madrid a bit, because it's always... Now the Cristiano Ronaldo rumor doesn't stop, so it's always there in the papers.
Italy, Spain, England, wherever.
Everyone talks about a possible comeback of Cristiano Ronaldo to Real Madrid. I know that we always talk about it, because it's something that we have to talk about, because we are talking about one of the most important players in the world. So we have to mention again this week, what's the situation with Cristiano?
Yes, we have to understand what's going on behind the scenes, because what in Spain they are saying with Marca and with a lot of important sources is that Cristiano would be ready to join Real Madrid. And for sure, Cristiano would be happy to be back at Real Madrid. But at the moment, what we can say today in March, let's see what happens in May. We have like 2 months, so I don't know what is happening in 2 months, because I am not the president of Real Madrid. But at the moment, what I can say is that Real Madrid are not working to sign Cristiano Ronaldo. So there is no proposal to Juventus, no proposal to Cristiano. They are talking to people close to Cristiano, because Jorge Mendes obviously is looking at the situation and he wants to arrive prepared.
He wants to be
summer.
prepared, exactly.
Obviously, he's a top agent, so it's normal. But at the moment, there is nothing like agreed or ready or advanced with Real Madrid. So we need to wait a bit. And I want always to remember what we said last week. They have a meeting scheduled between Juventus and Cristiano Ronaldo at the end of the season. They will meet with Jorge Mendes too, and they will decide about the future. Juventus have to decide about the team. They have to decide about the manager.
Exactly.
They have to decide about the sport director. They have to decide about Cristiano. So they have a lot of things to think about in the coming weeks. And for sure, Cristiano will be one of the most important, if not the most important one. So at the end of the season, we will understand. At the end of the season, we will understand. But at the moment, there is nothing advanced with Real Madrid. And my personal feeling, I want to say again what I said last time, is that they want something different, something new, and not to come back at the past with Cristiano. Obviously,
talking about Real Madrid.
Yes, yes.
No, because Juventus would be interesting to see if because now they're saying officially. Fabio Paratici is saying all the time, the Juventus C Sport is saying Cristiano is the future, we want him here.
Yes.
But a lot of things, as you are saying, are happening at Juve. The position of Pirlo, the Paratici also, Cristiano Ronaldo. So we have to see if what he's saying is the truth.
What I want to say to people that are not living in Italy, obviously, is that Fabio Paratici obviously is doing his work when he's talking about Cristiano, and he's protecting Cristiano and protecting the club and protecting the team. But for example, last summer he said Sarri is staying, we are 100% with him, and then they sacked him in 2 days. So
yeah, true.
It's normal in football to say something and something can change in the coming weeks. So don't think just about the words.
Probably he's protecting also himself, because he was the one, that's important to remember, he was the one who basically brought Cristiano Ronaldo the idea to Presidente Agnelli.
Yes.
That was his idea, and was
and we have to
absolutely
remember,
incredible idea. So
yes, well, we have always to say that, in my opinion, I always say that Fabio Paratici is the best director we have in Italy and probably one of the best in Europe.
I agree.
But at the moment, the situation is that they have to decide at the end of the season, and talking right now about Cristiano, you can only say, okay, Cristiano is staying, we're happy with him. This is the truth. They're happy with Cristiano. We're talking about one of the best in the world. But they have to decide about their project. And I always want to remember, Cristiano is earning 32 million euro after taxes per season. For one more season.
It's like a mantra that we have to repeat sometimes.
It's something really big in this moment with the pandemic and everything, offering this kind of money to Cristiano Ronaldo at his age. Imagine that Mbappé is negotiating with Paris Saint-Germain for 25, probably 30. Let's see what happens. But imagine spending this money for Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
It's a totally different age.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Just to end this part about Juventus, when you're saying, always managers need to protect the team and saying respecting the player, all of that, I was thinking about the last time that didn't happen was when Marotta, the Inter CEO, said Eriksen is leaving the club in January, and then now he's central in the project.
Yes,
That's because football is changing, completely changing every month. So we cannot say.
What I want people to understand is that we are trying in this podcast to tell you what's happening behind the scenes, but we don't know the future, so we can know the future. Who is telling 100% is happening this in next summer? It's not true, because we have to wait. We are in March and the season will be taken in May. So we have to wait a bit. But to say what's happening behind the scenes is that Cristiano is not in advanced talks to join Real Madrid. He will love to, but at the moment there is nothing advanced.
And again, Juventus connecting the Ronaldo part with Paul Pogba, who is another player that's actually, Mino Raiola said in November, Paul Pogba will leave the club this summer. In summer 2021, we'll see if that will happen or not. But is that connected with Cristiano Ronaldo in a way?
Yes, it's connected because we know that the big dream for Juventus is Paul Pogba. Has always been Paul Pogba, because many times we say they wanted him. Also before the pandemic, they were planning to sign him last summer. So Paul Pogba is the dream for Juventus, and let's see what happens with Manchester United, if he will leave the club, if not. But 100% they will love to have Paul Pogba. But if they sell Ronaldo, would be key to try for Paul Pogba. If they don't, it won't be easy. Just because we have to remember that the big problem, apart from the fee and negotiating with
salaries,
the club, is about the salary. Paul Pogba is having a salary around 18 million euro per season. We have to include sponsorship and everything. Yeah. So it's really a complicated one for Juventus. If you have Cristiano Ronaldo for one more season with this salary, having also Paul Pogba, and they have a lot of players with a big salary. So they have to change the situation with salaries. And signing Pogba today would be really complicated because of this. More about the fee, it's about the salary. Imagine that if you want to sign Locatelli from Sassuolo, interesting player, Manchester City are looking at him, Juventus want to sign him. His
45.
His salary would be
the fee.
His salary would be around 2 or 3 million euro. Yeah. Pogba would be 20 million euro. Yeah. So it's totally different. That's why they are planning for Cristiano. To understand what's happening with Cristiano will be key also for Paul Pogba.
Also, there are other salaries in the Juventus squad that are really high. Think about, high compared to the value of the player, in my opinion. Like Rabiot, for example, his
same
salary,
Ramsey too.
Ramsey, it's like 7.5, something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but it was 7 or 7.5. So if you add 7.5, then you add Cristiano Ronaldo, who is 32, then it's Pogba is 20.
The Ligt is 14. Yes.
We are talking about also football after the pandemic, who will have an impact for sure. That's totally unsustainable.
Yes. That's why it's important to understand what's happening with Cristiano. Also for Juventus decided to sign Pogba.
That can create a space for players like Pogba.
Yes.
And talking about Manchester United, we are so happy about this thing. And you are so happy about it, I know. But we are so happy because we talk about Amad Diallo for all the listeners on Patreon, when we were on Patreon. They know that we love the player, we love the guy. He's absolutely a great talent, one of the best talent of, I can say, Italian football because he grew up in Italy.
Yes.
So we are so happy because he's improving a lot and Solskjaer is so happy about him.
Yes. So first of all, congrats to Amad. I'm happy. To be honest, I wasn't expecting him to have this kind of impact immediately because we are in March. So he arrived 2 months ago and he's almost ready, playing with the first team. So congrats to him. Look, for example, at Pellistri. He arrived last summer and he was never playing. And he's a great talent too. But Amad was immediately ready and focused. Great work also on great professionals on trainings. So I'm so happy because he's a big talent. And what I want to say about Amad Diallo, I was working about money, okay? The fee, how much really Manchester United paid to sign him from Atalanta. And what I've been told is 21 million euro already paid to Atalanta, so guaranteed, and 18 million euro as bonus, as add-ons to be paid in the coming years if Amad will perform with Manchester United, will win titles, we have matches, we score goals.
It's a lot.
So it's a lot, but let's see, because in my opinion, he's a good deal for Manchester United. Imagine
so a total can be of 39.
Yes,
39.
40 million euro. Yes,
yeah.
14 million euro will be the total, but let's see what happens in the coming years. And really, Manchester United people are so happy with Amad, and they are convinced they did a fantastic business. And let's see. Good luck to Amad.
He already scored, so it's already something important, and we are so happy, and we follow him for sure.
Yes.
And talking about Manchester, but let's go to the other side of the river, Manchester City. What are the plans with Manchester City and Mahrez, who is a player that, there is always rumors about him, there is always, talks.
Because of the contract, so there are a lot of rumors about him leaving the club, or chances with other clubs. But what I can say is that at the moment, Manchester City want to keep Mahrez. They are not working to sell him or something like this. Guardiola is so happy with him. Now he's a key player. So I see a lot of rumors, but Manchester City plan is to go on with Mahrez. He's part of the team. He's part of the future also for the next season. So at the moment, there is nothing with other clubs. And okay, the situation of the contract is not advancing as reported by people in England, and it's true. But at the moment, they are already convinced that he will stay. He will stay next summer. That's it.
There are also other issues for Manchester City, thinking about Aguero, thinking about, De Bruyne, they're still talking, but there are a lot of players that need to be,
yes,
fix
they have
the
to
situation.
decide for Sterling contract, Mahrez contract. Aguero obviously is imminent because they have to decide if going on with him or letting go for other clubs. So yes, they're going to work on the contracts. Always remember about De Bruyne. They are negotiating with De Bruyne. Yeah. It's a long one, but they are 100% convinced that De Bruyne will stay and will sign the new contract, as we said many times, from November. So it's step by step, They are happy with the situation because they have Guardiola, first of all. They had the contract of Guardiola, and this was the most important one. Now they are working around with other players and more and planning for the summer.
I want to say something about the contracts because it's something that we have to underline, I think. Especially now with we have to repeat the financial crisis every 2 minutes, but that's what's happening.
Yes.
The contracts are actually way more difficult to, renew. That's why they take so much time to renew a contract. Yes. Because, players, of course, they ask for more money for a new contract. And that's more difficult now to achieve that with the pandemic and the
because
financial situation.
Clubs are trying to say, okay, you have to take less to earn less because obviously we are in a difficult situation. Look at Sergio Ramos. Real Madrid are asking to all their players to have 10% less than their salary because of the pandemic, and they want more. So and they have, imagine that when you are extending a contract in a normal situation, you have also to pay agents and commissions and probably family. When you have big ones like Mbappe or Neymar, it's a big one. It's like negotiating for a new player, I always say.
Yeah.
It's not just a renewal contract when you are on FIFA and you spend like 2 minutes to extend the contract. When you want to do it in real life, it's so difficult sometimes.
So boring to renew contracts on FIFA, my personal opinion. It's the worst part of the career. Anyway, to end the Manchester City part, last week you mentioned about Nuno Mendes, and is a player that, is in the radar of the club.
Yes, and they prefer Nuno Mendes over Gosens at the moment. We have a lot of rumors about left backs. They will go for left back. For the player. So talking about the player, they like Nuno Mendes and they are convinced he would be perfect. Won't be easy to sign Nuno Mendes, what I want to say, because as we said last time, release clause 70 million euros, so Manchester City are interested. They are talking with people around Nuno Mendes, but at the moment there is nothing advanced because they won't spend 70 million euros on left back in this moment with the pandemic and everything. But they want to be always connected because they know that Nuno Mendes is attracted also by the clubs. A lot of clubs are interested. One of the best young left backs in the world. Yeah. So won't be an easy race, but Manchester City are in.
Okay, we will be back and we will talk about Chelsea, Arsenal, Neymar, Barcelona, Tottenham, a lot of things.
The Here We Go podcast is excited to introduce Skrill, our official sponsor and the payments app for money movers and money makers. With the Skrill app, you can pay online, send money, and buy and sell cryptocurrencies all in a few taps. It's quick, easy, and there is no need to rely on your bank. Depending on where you live, you can get a Skrill card too. The card will be delivered straight to your home address and gives you the instant access to your balance in stores, online or as cash at ATMs. Search for Skrill, spelled Skrill, and download the app today.
Okay, we are back. We talk about Tottenham. We mentioned Eric Lamela, Walter Sabatini interview at the beginning of the episode, but also we need to talk about the situation of Jose Mourinho because it's getting complicated. Can we say that?
Yes, it's a complicated situation, and what I want to say, because a lot of people are asking if Mourinho will be sacked, what's the situation right now? At the moment, they are not working to sack Mourinho. They hope the situation can change with Mourinho as a manager. There is no break clause in the contract of Mourinho. That's what I'm told, as David Ornstein reported. I have the same info, so no break clause. So if they want to sack Mourinho, they have to keep the contract, and that's it. They have to pay Mourinho till he finds a new club or they find an agreement with Mourinho to change the situation. So at the moment, the situation is still, we are with Mourinho. We hope the situation can change with Mourinho. But obviously, if they continue like this, let's see at the end of the season. So it's an open situation, but there is no break clause in the contract of Jose Mourinho.
And another, I can say, big news, because it's Gareth Bale. Whenever he speaks, he says like important words. And this time he talked about basically a comeback to Real Madrid. He said, my plan was to stay here at Tottenham one season on loan, and then I have a contract with Madrid until 2022, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. And
I plan to go back and play there for the rest of my contract. Is that poker game, or is that something true?
As many reported, obviously he said the truth. So obviously he just said what is going on. But what he knows is that in this moment, his season has been not as good as they were expecting. So at the moment, Gareth Bale is coming back at Real Madrid. Let's see what happens with Zidane, because if Zidane will be the manager, obviously Gareth Bale needs to find a new club. But at the moment with Tottenham, the situation is still complicated. They are happy with something done by Gareth Bale, but they are not 100% happy with Gareth Bale. Negotiating with Real Madrid is not easy. Negotiating with his enormous salary is not easy. So at the moment, we can say that Gareth Bale is coming back at Real Madrid, and he just say the truth. He basically said the truth because he knows that he has to come back, and let's see if staying, complicated in my opinion, or finding a new team, a new club.
There is a new name for Chelsea, and you wanted to talk about him.
Yes, new name for European football and for Chelsea and for other clubs that are looking at him. We're talking about scouting, so no negotiation on at the moment. But Chelsea are looking, and Atletico Madrid too, are looking at Gabriel Menino. This is a midfielder playing for Palmeiras, best team in Brazil in South America in the last weeks, in the last months, because they had a fantastic season. Gabriel Menino is a midfielder. He can play also as a right back. So interesting, really interesting player. he's a fighter, you know. So in my opinion, he will be perfect for Atletico Madrid style, and I know that they're scouting him. They are looking at him. They are always paying attention to South American talents. So it's something we are used with Atletico Madrid, always looking at these markets. He's an interesting player. The fee would be around 20 million euro. Chelsea are looking at him. He's not something like negotiating or advanced talks or something like this, but they are looking at the player. So for sure, he's an interesting one to keep an eye on for next summer. And as I say, the price will be around 20 million euro, and they are already trying to understand about the work permit and everything. So Chelsea are informed on this player. They are not the only club. Pay attention also Atletico Madrid, and others are looking at Gabriel Menino. So it will be so interesting to see. He was already called up also for Brazil with Tite, the manager of the national team, the coach of the national team, and it will be really interesting to see him in Europe in one day.
Talking about Chelsea, we mentioned in the last weeks multiple times that AC Milan are really happy with Fikayo Tomori. They are really happy with his attitude, with his way of playing. He did a great impression to Italian football.
Now.
He's a starter now. He did a great. Fans absolutely love him.
Yes.
I only see positive comments about Fikayo Tomori in Italy. And also Chelsea fans are sad because they know they lost a player that is very important, but they didn't lose it yet because he's on loan to AC Milan. But are AC Milan willing to buy him this summer?
I see a lot of rumors of people here in Italy saying that AC Milan are negotiating with Chelsea to have like a discount, to talk about the price, to change the price. At the moment, it's not true. They are not talking with Chelsea about it. At the end of the season, they will decide about the buy option, 28 million euro. But at the moment, from Chelsea, there is no chance to say, okay, let's do 25 or 22 or 20.
That's the fixed number.
Yes, and 28 or nothing. That's it for Chelsea. Let's see what AC Milan will decide. But at the moment, they are not negotiating. They are just waiting. AC Milan are so happy with Tomori. He's doing great things. Also, the player is happy in Italy because he's playing. So that's the situation. But Tomori is a great professional, you know. So he's focused on football. He's not thinking about transfer market and more. So if he has to come back at Chelsea, he will fight for Chelsea next season. If he's staying at AC Milan, he will be happy here. So he's just thinking on the pitch. That's it. But there are no negotiation between Chelsea and AC Milan. So it's only about the price. 28 million euro by option or nothing. So they will decide at the end of the season. And I'm happy about Thiago Silva. Also news saying that contract extension and more. I see on social media he's looking at it just because the rumors are going out. And yes, there are huge chances to see Thiago Silva extending his contract with Chelsea.
We saw him on the stands with Kai Havertz celebrating. Great. There was a great scene of...
Thiago is a real leader. That's why Tuchel and Chelsea board want to keep him. Also, if he's injured right now, they are in love with Thiago attitude, Thiago leadership and more.
He's a captain, you know, basically. His leadership is unbelievable. And talking about, now we're talking about experienced players. We don't say old players here, we say experienced players.
Yes.
Let's talk about less experienced players. So Martin Odegaard, who is a player that is another player that is giving great impression to Arsenal fans, to England, to Premier League, and also Arteta was sure about that. He was absolutely convinced about it. And he opened up about his future, saying that it's possible that he will stay at Arsenal, or at least, you know...
yes, he said we will see
but at least,
summer.
You know, giving a possibility to stay.
Yes, because as said last week here in the podcast, Arsenal want to keep Odegaard. They are so happy with Odegaard. So they will do their best in the summer to keep Odegaard. Zidane will be the key to understand if Zidane will stay or not at Real Madrid. Let's see. But the player talking like this, so having consistency and playing and game time is important. He's happy with Arsenal. He's happy with the atmosphere. He's happy with the club. So there are chances, yes, but the negotiation will be with Real Madrid at the end of the season. So the player is open, and this is something important when you are negotiating with a player coming from Real Madrid, you know, because many can say, okay, I want to come back at Real Madrid and not staying here. But Odegaard is so happy. He's doing great things, also in training and not just on the pitch, also with the teammates. So it wasn't so easy. You know, when you move to the Premier League, it's never easy to change approach and everything, but he's been great. Then in January is so complicated to come in another club, in another country, another city, move on, and okay, I'm ready to play for Arsenal, top club.
And here we're talking about two players, Tomori and Odegaard, who did that. So congrats to them.
Yes. Also about Smith Rowe, about Arsenal, to complete everything about Arsenal. They are working to extend his contract, so it's not negotiation advanced or official proposal, but they are planning to keep Smith Rowe and to extend his contract in the coming months. So for sure they see Smith Rowe as part of the project for the future of Arsenal. As we mentioned, Odegaard, but he's on loan. Smith Rowe is an Arsenal player, and they are so happy with him. So they are planning to work on his contract in the coming weeks.
We'll be back and talk about Eric Garcia and Neymar and a lot of last things.
The Here We Go podcast is proudly sponsored by Skrill, the payments app for money movers and money makers. Go to Skrill.com to see all the ways Skrill lets you pay quickly and easily without relying on your bank, or download the app by searching for Skrill, spelled Skrill, and sign up in seconds.
Okay, and we're back, and we talk about Eric Garcia, who is a player that we always said is a done deal to Barcelona, is a player that will play for the club from next season. But there were rumors this week about some problems, some issues about the transfer.
No issues. Eric Garcia will play for Barcelona. I also saw these rumors, people asking me, Fabrizio, it's true, there are problems with the agent. No. Eric Garcia has an agreement with Barcelona. They're going to sign the contract in the coming weeks, but it's done. And 100% he will be one of the first signings for Laporta. And I'm so happy for Eric because he deserves to play. Obviously, because of the contract situation, he's not playing. So he's out of the team of Manchester City. But he deserves to play, and he will with Barcelona next season.
And also there are rumors about a possible exit of Miralem Pjanic.
Yes, I saw these rumors too. And there is something true. So there are chances to see Pjanic out of Barcelona if some important bids will arrive. I have to say that Pjanic is a great professional. First of all, he's training as a great professional. He's not creating any problem to the club. This is important to say because I see some rumors saying that he's creating problems. No, Pjanic is working hardly. But if some big proposal will arrive, for sure Barcelona will look at it because they have to decide also with the manager. You know, we said about Wijnaldum. So if Koeman will stay, Pjanic is not playing and he wants to play. But let's see what happens in the summer. At the moment, they are considering him as a possibility if an important bid will arrive. But he's working hard and he's fighting for Barcelona. So respect Pjanic. That's it.
Absolutely, we respect him. And talking about respect and Barcelona, former Barcelona player, it's the time to talk about Neymar. Because the renewal is going further, talks are going on, and you said about you tweeted and you gave the news this week about a big bonus in case of the Champions League win of Paris Saint-Germain in the new contract. You want to add something about it?
Yes, they're negotiating about the last details like this one, so a huge bonus if they will win the Champions League, and last details about the goal bonus and everything, but Neymar will stay. Neymar will sign a new contract with Paris Saint-Germain. The agreement is like imminent. It will be a 5 years agreement. So Neymar is staying. They are so happy with him, obviously, I would say. But also Neymar is so happy with the atmosphere at Paris Saint-Germain. So let's see what happens with Mbappé. They are negotiating, but with Neymar, we can say that the agreement is imminent. So it's just a matter of time, and Neymar will sign his new contract with Paris Saint-Germain.
And to end this episode, we want to talk about two players that were official this week. One is Otavio.
Yes, he was close to join other clubs like AC Milan and Leicester, making proposal to him because he was like a free agent in some weeks.
Exactly.
But he found an agreement with Porto, so he will be staying. Good player, but Leicester were really interested, but it was nothing completed, obviously.
And another one who you are proud about it, who is Simakan, because remember when he was close for many people to join AC Milan. At the end, Tomori went. It was your news. Yes. And then now he signed with Leipzig, and we can say he's the replacement of Upamecano for the summer.
Yes, they don't need summer in Leipzig, They don't need June, July and August because they are working in March, in February, selling Upamecano.
What a club.
Simakan, signing Brobby. So they don't need summer. They do transfer window in March and in February. So congrats to Leipzig. Interesting player. So happy for him. And a really interesting deal because they spent like 17 million euro for a good centre-back. And they also have signed Gvardiol, centre-back who was close to join Leeds.
Yeah.
So interesting one, really.
they are preparing for the future as always, always renewing. And what I know that for the German listeners, it's not a love club in Germany. They don't love Leipzig for other reasons outside football, but from a transfer market perspective, they are really a place to look at because they do a great business there.
Yes.
Okay, Fabri, thank you so much. We will see you soon. We will talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Ciao.
Ciao.